can be done to improve Nottinghamshire schools that underperform compared to neighbouring Lincolnshire schools? And for this one, we're going to have Mr. Henderson answer first.
So, schools have been changed an awful lot in the last decade. We've seen the introduction of academies where we have the business community heavily involved in schools. We would be scrapping this. We'd be bringing in a greater community focus with local authorities more involved, local authorities with a reformed democratic process. So you will be electing councillors every 2 years. Half your council will be re-elected every 2 years, so there'll be a faster turnover, so you'll have a greater democratic representation in your councils. And these councils will have a relationship with your schools, which means that your interests and your children's interests will be put at the heart of the schools, rather than business interests, essentially. We'll be putting a lot more funding into these schools as well, particularly the poorer schools, and there'll be more focus on well-being rather than qualifications, which will get you through in the business world.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Mr. Watts, that's your time.
Yeah, lots of things. Firstly, let teachers teach. Stop using kids as a political. Teachers train for years to be able to teach. They do something I couldn't do. And I have immense respect for anyone who's brave enough to go into a classroom and face a group of kids. I have 2 teenagers, it terrifies me. Yeah. I've been a school governor, both as a community governor and as a parent governor. And obviously, as I said, I've got 2 kids in secondary school now, so I have a real strong interest in what happens in our schools. So trust teachers, that's the first thing. Secondly, Ofsted has become a dirty word. Yeah. It puts immense pressure on staff, on teachers, on schools. Get rid of it. Yeah. Have a new system of regulation, a new system of oversight that is fair, that doesn't just look at what your exams are, but what are you doing with the children? Are you turning out well-rounded, well-educated children? And thirdly, put the money into schools that need it. Do you remember the last budget when the Chancellor was saying schools could bid for little extras? Yeah, like books and teachers. We need to fund education properly.
Thank you, Mr. Watts.
So first of all, listen to teachers. Start listening to teachers. Because the huge majority of them are saying the system is broken and that they need help. And we need to give them that help. That's why the Labour Party is committed to the biggest scale investment in our schools. It's critical to our future. We're falling behind, and we need to make sure there's that investment. You know, we are seeing the highest levels of teacher dropouts in early career that we've ever seen, and that's shocking. You know, these people are doing it because they want to teach children, they want to make a difference, and they're dropping out because of the stress levels, because of the workload. And not only that, it means that workload means that they're not giving the time, the individual care to our students that frankly, children in private schools get that extra care, and we need to make sure that teachers are giving the time to spend with children so that they can have a good start in life.
Well, when I first came to Newark 6 years ago, I was very shocked by the statistic that a majority of children in the town were going to school outside of the town, often being driven 10 or 20 miles to the nearest school, because obviously at secondary level, there was a concern by many parents that the schools weren't serving their needs. That, thankfully, is changing, and it's changing quite dramatically. We've spoken about the improvements here that Anna Martin, head teacher, and many others have driven at this school. We're seeing it at the Newark Academy, where again, a fantastic head teacher and the academisation movement have really improved that. We've seen it with the establishment of the free school, the Southern School, and I suspect that over the course of the next Parliament, we'll reach a point where there are 3 outstanding secondary schools in Newark, which would be such a seismic change from just a decade ago, and will be the biggest driver of social mobility, economic growth, well-being, all the things we want to see for a vibrant future for the town. I don't want to reverse that. I don't want to give up academisation. I don't want to lose Ofsted, which drives up standards and protects children. I don't want to have free schools scrapped, so the Southern School, which hundreds of children are now going to, is closed down. Those are retrograde steps. Let's keep moving forwards, because we're making huge progress as a town, particularly in secondary education.
Thank you very much.